my boyfriend at the time, now my husband. He was an engineering CAD student here, and he had heard about Muskie Tank through his classes, and I just kind of realized, oh, I think I want to do this. I think I have an idea I'd really like to submit and go for.
I did the Muskie Tank because I already graduated college once with an automotive degree, decided to go back, and I didn't really have enough money to support myself all the way through college. I only really had enough for one semester, so I was kind of getting desperate for scholarships and nothing was panning through. Figured I was a creative enough person, so I applied for Muskie Tank, and it ended up working out for me. So
nice. For me, I was giving a presentation for the Honor Society, and the Muskie Tank was the only scholarship that I didn't know about. So I went to the informational meeting, and it seemed like a really interesting project, and I came up with an idea for it. My idea, I submitted it like the night after the presentation, and I got an email back a couple weeks later saying, wow, that's a really good idea. You are a quarterfinalist, or whatever it was.
The whole idea started with just me and my dad talking one day, and he brought it up, and I was like, oh, the Fab Labs right here at Century have all this, potential here. Why don't I try to make it? And then as I'm sitting there at Century doing that, somebody posted up a flyer saying Muskie Tank, chance to win $5,000 for your product. I was like, well, looks like I'm going in.
I was walking around the campus one day and I just saw these flyers, and I just saw it as, hey, it's an opportunity, let's try something different. To apply for the Muskie Tank, it was really simple. It started off with just a brief sort of application, and then from there, you got the opportunity to be paired up with a mentor. I was not an instant success, to be honest. I actually didn't make it my first year. So I had applied, I didn't make it through the first round, but I got a chance to be paired up with some mentors. And so when I applied the second time around, it was easier. Plus, I was able to be more direct in terms of what I wanted for resource, where I said, okay, this is what I needed. Whereas the first time it was I just needed a sort of a general mentor to kind of help me go through the process. Whereas the second time around, I was like, okay, I already have, this much going for myself with my business, but now I need something more specific, like a marketing person or a photographer.
Yeah, so then just applied and got right in there, went to a couple seminars and tried seeing what it was all about, and didn't seem like it would be that difficult to at least try. All you had to do was put a form in, and then you get an email back saying, yeah, you're gonna present, or no, but here's a gift card. So, yeah.
Yeah, if you asked me when I started coming to Century if I was going to win an entrepreneurship competition, that was never, not even kind of a thing. It was just something I fell into. I don't know about you guys, but I just kind of fell into it. And it's not the direction I thought I was going, but I was really happy that I took that direction.
And it's kind of cool because you watch Shark Tank all growing up, and you're watching it on Sundays, and you're like, oh, that'd be cool if I could come up with something like that. But to actually get the experience to pitch just like it was Shark Tank is quite a great experience.
Getting into this experience really helped bring so much focus to that. I came out of it feeling like I knew what worked for me and what didn't, and the broader strokes of what sort of direction to go as far as a career and what I can do. So much. Through that experience, I really learned that I was able to go further than I thought at the time. It really gave me a lot more confidence and really taught me how to present myself in a different way and really just kind of take charge of everything and go for it and try to do my best. So.
And for me, Muskie Tank was great, on a college level, just being able to compete with everybody. You really learn a lot about how to present yourself and a product that you think is worth it. So, honestly, your product didn't exist before you brought it up to the thing, so trying to sell people on something that doesn't really exist is tough.
I learned that I'm actually a pretty good businessman, even though I had never done anything businessy before that at all. And I learned about, what you said, networking, and how to bring a product into existence, which is a really important thing for me.
It was a great experience. And I think the biggest thing for me was the fact that I got to work on not only my idea, but I got to work with mentors, people who had experience or people who could kind of walk me through the process, just because I've never worked on a startup before. I think one of the biggest things that I learned, from being involved with Muskie Tank was just really working with other people. I feel like the opportunity to collaborate and work with other individuals was really important.
So I learned how to give a really good pitch, and I've done a couple different projects where I've had to pitch my ideas to people. For example, I run a music festival, and I've run it since I was in high school, but we finally brought it to be the real deal thing a few years ago, and I had to walk into the city council of the city that we did it in and convince them to let a 20-year-old throw a rock concert in their public park. And I really had to pitch that idea because it wasn't an easy sell. But I took the skills from Muskie Tank. I had like an executive summary and all of those things to give them, and give them a presentation on like why it's a good idea. And we've gotten to do it, and it's been pretty successful since.
And since I won Muskie Tank, I told my boss that I was competing in this. I had to take a couple days off to go to Minnesota Cup. My boss and CEO, they both saw it as a really big initiative, and we opened up a development part at work. So now we have product development with 2 other engineers, and so because of that, we grew our own company because of the Muskie Tank. So it was great as far as that goes.
I really figured out that entrepreneurship and kind of having my own business and doing what I want to do is so crucial for me. So I really got out there and I decided I was going to try things out in a corporate environment, just to be really sure whether, if I wanted to go on my own. And I realized that it's just what I want to do. I want to have my own business. I really want to be off on my own, and it really put together those last few pieces of my future plans. And
I won $5,000 towards my college classes, and then I got a $100 gift card to the bookstore. So that was enough for both semesters and all of my books. So I got a year of college for free.
Definitely that was beneficial. I mean, anybody who's a student or creating their own startup, I mean, especially if you're bootstrapping, you don't have a lot of cash. So even a little bit of money goes a long way. And especially for myself, I mean, getting that prize, it really kind of helped relieve some of that stress, especially since I was able to pay off some financial aid or some student loans, which really helped on my end. But like I said, it just any little thing that you can kind of take some of that burden off your shoulders, so that you can focus on some of the things that you love doing. Especially for me, was working on this startup. It was great.
yeah.
I mean, that's a huge scholarship, especially for Century College, how cheap it is. Pays for a year. That's great.
That's a really good point. I didn't even think about the fact that someone could do it their first year. That didn't even process. So do it twice.
That was really exciting. Really big confidence boost too. Being a full-time student, working full-time, and then putting yourself into that position, really getting that kind of payout just makes you want to keep going.
It did benefit me personally, just because I grew quite a bit from the opportunity, just to work with other people. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I wanted to do personally, was be able to follow through with stuff that I'm passionate about. That anything is really possible as long as you just set your mind to it, as long as you put yourself around just good people.
Through this program, it kind of forces you to pick yourself up on the good things and then just kind of change the negatives into positives as you get the chance. And that was really helpful through this.
I really need to be more confident in my abilities and my future and how I can shape that, how I present myself, how I pull it all together, and what I make of it.
I learned how to take criticism really well. I don't know about you guys, but I got a lot of red marks back on my papers.
Oh, yeah.
And so she helped me really focus on finite details and really hammer those things out. And it's helped me throughout my education and my professional life, being able to take feedback and not be bitter about it, and actually make change in myself afterwards. And so,
and actually I used the Muskie Tank story in my interview, and it was a big impact on how to get me hired.
what do you have to lose? That's,
Yeah,
I mean,
honestly.
that's the biggest thing. I mean, if you shoot and you fail, you still shot for it. If you don't go for it, you failed before you even start. So, I mean, you learn even if you don't win. So, you might as well try.
Yeah, you get feedback right away.
Yeah.
There's like, even if you like don't win, there's a lesson in it. You
Yeah.
still, if you get in, there's still the mentorship. There's still I think there's runner-up prizes. There's stuff like that. There's
Yeah.
plenty of benefits to doing it. You should absolutely do it. That's what I should say.
Yeah, I would say that it's very, if you're sitting there and you have an idea and you're thinking about entering it, just enter it, because you're never going to know how good that idea is unless you get some feedback and
Yeah.
unless you put that out there. And if you don't get chosen to be part of Muskie Tank, then at least you know how to
Yeah.
feel about that idea. It gives you feedback and it gives you a different perspective. And if you do get in, there's so much to learn from it. There's so much growth to come from it. And
For me, it was just there was nothing to lose, right? It's just an application. You just filled it out and you turned it in. Nobody else saw that application other than the people reviewing it. But
I honestly would just say just do it. I mean, you don't really have much to lose, and I think if you feel like you have a great idea, and I think as long as you follow through with it and you meet good people, anything can happen. No, you can't go wrong. You really can't. Why not try? It's one of the things people just don't feel like they should try. They feel like, oh, my idea is not good enough. But really, like, how do you know unless you do try, right? So get out there, put yourself out there. I mean, use the skills from your classes at Century and apply them to a real life event.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
I
you.
learned a ton, and I'm still using that knowledge. And the money went a long way, and it helped so much.
yeah. This made a big impact on the direction I was heading in, and it really just helped me in so many ways I didn't know it could. So I'm so glad I did this, and thank you so much for having this as an option. I mean, having
Yeah.
this at
Yeah.
a community college, an opportunity like this is just
Right.
amazing.
Yeah, it's just awesome. Because, I mean, had it not been for the Muskie Tank, I wouldn't be here this semester finishing up my degree. I'd have had to wait at least a year before I'd have had enough money to pay off my school. So it's just, well, actually, I probably wouldn't have been able to because I would have finished, so I'd have to start paying back my student loans. So then I'd just be down this road where I would have never graduated. So had it not been for it, I wouldn't have been able to graduate. So, yeah, thank you guys so much.